established in Sahaja Yoga, blooming with joy. May God bless you all. Can you bring it a little nearer? I think the voice is not. Little nearer. Little loudly because everybody must hear. You should. We are not having any video, is there?
Yes.
But why not have it loud? Is it all right?
My mother said that everyone should hear.
It's all right. Now. All right. Keep it. I'll have it a little later. Thank you. Should be this way. I like that.
The wire is. Yes, my mother said the wire is.
Today we are celebrating the resurrection of Christ. With it we have to also celebrate the resurrection of human beings, of Sahajogis, who have been resurrected as realized souls. With that, we have to understand that we enter into a new awareness. There was no need for Christ to enter into any new awareness. He had to come down and again to show to this world that you are the eternal life, that you lead a life that is spiritual, which never perishes. You have to rise into that new realm, which is the realm of God Almighty, what you call the kingdom of God. And he said it very clearly to Nicodemus that you are to be born again. And when he asked, am I to enter back into my mother's womb to be born again? I said it so clearly. It's so clear. Those who don't want to see can remain blind. But he said it very, very clearly that no, that is whatever is born of the flesh is the flesh. But whatever is born of the Spirit is the Spirit. I mean, nothing could be more clear than that it has to be born of the Spirit. Of course, human beings have a special capacity to twist everything around. For them, Spirit could be a book, could be some words, could be an organization, a church, or some sort of a thing like that which they have made. But whatever is man-made is not the Spirit. This is the clear statement of Christ, which people wanted to avoid and start their own organizations, their own ideas, and created a very mythical thing in his name. And now the time has come for it to be blasted. It has been going on and on for thousands of years, captured so many innocent people, and people are into it. But when you are resurrected, when you become realized souls, one has to understand that now your movement is inward. You are moving towards your roots and not outside. So whatever was the endeavor before realization has to be changed. The direction has to be changed. At that point, mostly we miss. This is the thing today I am trying to explain to you. That so far, to a human mind, entertainment was important. Entertaining. To the mind, not to the spirit. Entertainment to the spirit is absolutely opposite to the entertainment to the mind. Like somebody the other day telephoned to me and said that, "Mother, there is no excitement in Sahaja Yoga." The excitement is too much. We are going against that. We are going towards peace, not towards excitement and this kind of electric shocks that we require every time. See, a drunkard, he's all right in the morning, but evening time he goes off. He needs a shock, some sort of an injection into his body. All human enterprises have been like that. They are to excite your body. Because if it is the dead you are dealing with, then you have to excite it. But something that is living, that is eternal, you have to enjoy it and not to excite it. So the direction has to be juxtaposition. And that is where many Sahaja Yogis fail to understand. How do we do it is the point. How do we make our attention move inward instead of going outward? If you start from the time you are born again, it is much easier, because it's a new venture into you go in. That is the peace of your spirit, the joy of your spirit, which is permanent. You don't need any excitement from it. It is permanent. It is eternal. So the first thing that comes to our mind is that whatever we do before realization, we have not to do. The first and foremost thing is realization comes to you effortlessly. So the effort which is built in your body all the time, the energy of effort, I must do this, I must do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. That creates tension, that I have told you already. So, what do? We do not try to compete with others. We do not try to fix certain timing, dates, watches. We do not also put our attention into any endeavor which puts us into effort, but we relax that attitude of effort. It's called as, in Sanskrit, prayatna shaithilya. For a Western mind, it's very difficult to grasp the subject. So try to understand. That doesn't mean lethargy. Doesn't mean lethargy. One should never confuse with the dead the energy of the living. Now we are trying to transform our energies towards the energy of the spirit. So you have to allow the spirit to take over. your effort of your mind should be reduced and the energy of the spirit should work through you. Now, how do you do it? First is detachment. Detachment. Detachment start with the thought. Let us see the thought. It's called as vichara shaithilya, relaxation of the thought. Now a thought is coming into your mind. Some thought, today is Mother's Puja, let's go. We have to hurry up, you see, you must get this, you didn't get the flowers, now you go to the third world and get the flowers, you must get this and you must get that. Second is, no, detach yourself. Witness. Leave it to the spirit. Watch. You'll get it. Many of you have noticed this. But still this mind, which is quite silly, tries to impress upon you that you have to use the old junky instrument of this mind. And it asserts that better use. And when you start using that, ego comes in, you get attached to it. And what you lose is your progress, and thus the joy is minimized. How do you detach yourself? For a person who is absolutely detached, it's very difficult to explain how to detach, isn't it? I'll try. Now, I cannot get attached, that's the problem is. And I find it difficult to explain to you in words which are human words. But still I'll try to say now. Say I tried something as human beings do in the beginning, just to see how it works out, because I had to experiment. For example, when I had to, say, attend any puja or anything, I used to ask them, what is the auspicious time? So they would tell me, this is the auspicious time. And then another would telephone to say, this is the auspicious time. So I said, how can there be two auspicious times? It's a big problem with human beings. So they said there are 5 panchangas in India. Means 5 books to consult the auspicious time. That's what human beings have done. I said, then why consult? It's better not to have 5 auspicious times. Isn't it? Then the auspicious time is not beyond, has to be beyond time. But it is bound in the time, the way human beings have made it. So it is bound in the time, like in India it is so much, so much, so much. But now here it's different. Then you calculate, you have a watch. You see, to overcome all these hurdles, human beings also make certain devices. So you consult. Now what is the auspicious time here? Leave at that time. Then it's a big headache. Because there are 5 books to be consulted. Watch could be wrong, this could be wrong, that could be so. But if you are the spirit, then the spirit works out auspiciousness. It is the spirit that works out the auspiciousness. And imagine when you think like that, how much tension goes out. First of all, you have to be a slave of the watch. Another, you have to be the slave of the books. Then you have to be the slave of the market, of the room, of the place which you have to hire. But supposing if you allow the spirit to work it out, then everything will work out and you will reach at this point where it is the most auspicious. So how do you accept it? Just by accepting. So just now if you give up your satta, your own domain. You get into the domain of your spirit. You give up your domain. That is your ego's domain, or maybe your superego's domain. You give up that and try to see things how it works out. Now, what is the testing point of it? How do you test it? It works out. That's the point of testing. It works out. Allow it to work out. Don't put your attention. Attention has the second part of it, the tension. And don't try to say, why not today? It should have happened today. We expected it to happen. Why not at this moment? That's your ego. Thy will be done. So the thought that starts moving in our mind all the time, which creates tensions, is not the thought of the spirit. So, what you should say? Not this thought. Not this thought. Yan neti neti vachanai nigamo avochus. Not this thought, not this thought, not this thought. And see how you relax. Now you are relaxing. Not this thought, not this thought. Just go on refusing, accepting any thought. So you go into nirvichara. In that state, you feel the spirit. Christ has done the greatest work on this, I should say, but we do not understand because his life was like a micro thing. See, in 3 years. So we have to open it out a little bit and see what he did. He has given us the greatest weapon of forgiveness. When you forgive a person, what do? You accept the situation to begin with. And secondly, you forgive what you think has been done wrong to you. But because nothing can be done wrong to your spirit, you just forgive because you are the spirit. And when you forgive, you have found that your tension goes away. So even to your thoughts, if you say, all right, forgive this thought, because thought is also not to be punished. Forgive this thought, forgive everything. Not forget, forgive. Because then you will even forget that you are the spirit. But forgive all the thoughts that are coming to me. Just go on saying this is a mantra. What is a mantra? Is that power of the word that expresses spirit. So this is a very important thing Christ has given us, the weapon of forgiveness. Everybody has that weapon. Everyone can use that weapon. You don't have to put in any effort for it. You don't have to pay for it. It's just you have to say, I forgive. You will be amazed, your nerves will soothe down. This tension, this pressure of these modern things will be reduced if you go on saying, I forgive them. For example, you go and see some sort of if you happen suddenly to see something very filthy according to the spirit. Maybe it is very exciting according to normal human beings, but we are abnormal people. And for us, if we find it rather ugly, then the best thing is to get over is to say, I forgive. Because they are ignorant. They are blind. They are not yet there where I am. I am the one who is at the source of enjoyment, at the source of peace, and while these are not, so I forgive. And you'll be amazed that this forgiveness that Christ gives you works out. Vichara Shaithilya is the relaxation of the thought. Now this opposite movement that you have to move, first of all, should start at this point today from forgiving others. Now what happens when you forgive someone? That means you do not react. The power to react to somebody's injuries, insults is finished. And when that power is finished, you become a powerful person. Because nobody can now overpower you. Because nobody can kill you. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can do anything to you. But it is not, again, I'll say, shamelessness. See, people can think that it is shamelessness. So, if somebody says to you something harsh and something that is wrong, you do not accept it. But supposing I shout at someone, the bhoots run away. You have seen that many a times. I have to shout at people, so bhoots run away because they react and they just run. But the spirit shines through. So, in Sahaja Yoga, one has to understand that it is just the central path, is just the balancing thing which is important. Is not an extreme of anything. Like when we go to say that you must forgive everyone, is not going to that extreme where you have done some wrong and somebody says to you, you don't take that part of it. It doesn't mean that. Again, discretion is the engine of your movement. So you have to see that if they have said it, something like that, is it, have I gone against the spirit? Otherwise, if I say to you something, you will say, all right, forgive mother. You see the point is, forgive her for saying so. No. You cannot say that to me. So then, that is the point you start thinking. Why mother said so? What have I done? Now think on those lines. So you start moving again. It's a very thin road on which you have to walk. One side is the huge, big Gibraltar, rock of Gibraltar of your ego. The another side is a superego. In between is a small discretion path going, on which you have to see both the sides. Whether you are hitting yourself with the rock of Gibraltar or falling into the valley of superego, you should see that you are using your discretion. So, the another thing one has to remember, that whatever you are doing before realization is to go to extreme. For example, now you start some sort of a movement. You say we'll have classical things, all right. Then you go so classical that it becomes mechanical. Now you'll say give up, we'll start anti-culture. So you go to another side that you become primitive. Till you have reached the end of it and learnt a lesson of your life, you do not return. But in Sahaja Yoga, it's a very slippery road on which we are walking. And there you have to see that it's not your ego and it is not your superego. So discretion has to be used very much, and the balance in this movement, which we need not use otherwise. Till we are absolutely destroyed, we can go ahead with it before realization. But in Sahaja Yoga, as soon as you leave your discretion, you fall this side or that side. Now those people who are of high quality Saj Yogis, take to discretion first. How far to go? Now, for that, mother doesn't have to say because you are the spirit. You yourself, you are the spirit. First of all, assume your position as a spirit and then move with it. That you say discreetly how far to go, how far not to go. Now, that is one of the things that you have to become thoughtless by becoming a forgiving person. Most of the thoughts will drop out once you become forgiving. But you cannot forgive some people, like you cannot forgive God, you cannot forgive mother. Certain things you cannot do. So the maryadas must be seen. Now, in these boundaries, if you walk properly, you can go ahead. This is the thing which brings you vichara shaithilya, or you can call the mind becomes relaxed. Then you have to have vishaya shaithilya. Means your organs, sense organs, always react to things. Because you are human beings, you see, you are born like that. So whatever happens, you react. For example, you see a beautiful flower, you react to it. Some sort of a thought rises with it. Now, you must practice to see something without allowing any thought to rise. Then you start sucking through your spirit the beauty, the glory, the fragrance of a flower. Every flower is a poetry. But when you start thinking about it, then it becomes a dead thing. But you just try to enjoy. Now you are the people who are on this earth to enjoy yourself. Not to worry about anything. Just enjoy. But if you are still used to, I must do this thing special, I am something special Saj Yogi, I am a very highly evolved Saj Yogi, then you are finished. Say, we are all going in a boat, enjoy the boat and also the waves. But somebody says, I am a very special one, I'll try to jump down. Then you are back again into the same position. So one has to have an attitude of looking at things. Try to develop this habit of looking at things without thinking about it. Try to develop your mind on those lines that you do not react. Now that excitement business or all this sensationalization that is today's craze comes from the same, that your sense organs require a kind of sensation because they react. While we must have our sense organs which do not react, because they must only react to the spirit. So we have to develop a new type of sense organs or a new quality of sense organs who do not react to outside excitement. Now if you want Saj Yoga to be excitement, how can it be? I mean, it is just the opposite of it. So what you have to do is to see that your sex organs, say for example your eyes, they see something, then they react. Your ears, they hear something, they react. Somebody wants to talk and see the reaction. There are expectations. But because spirit is active itself, it acts itself. You have seen vibrations, don't speak, they act. It has the power to act. You need not react. If you can reduce the power of reaction, you rise much higher. This is a thing which one has to know when now we are celebrating his resurrection, because it is tapa. It is the penance of Christ. Christ came on this earth for penance. You know, in the Gayatri Mantra, there are 7 things they have said it. And at the point of Christ, it is tapa, is the penance. So you have to have so-called penance to achieve the joy. The penance is to pull back your sense organs inside yourself. As Krishna has said, that you have to pull back all your limbs of sense organs like a tortoise does. So the excitement that you require for your sense organs is no more needed, because your sense organs now are themselves the source of excitement. In the sense that they neutralize all the excitements. You go to that point from where it starts. A river starts with a very small little drop, and then it expands, 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 expands. You go to the source, absolutely to the central point. There you will find hardly even a drop falling out. Another good example would be a wheel has the central point. And the wheel moves all the time, but the central point has to be fixed. Otherwise, with the wheel, that central point also moves, then the cart cannot move. Cart will also start rolling down. So the central point has to be fixed. Otherwise, the wheel cannot move. So you go to that central point, and the movement is on the central point where there is no movement, in a way, because there's only ascent. There's no revolution. It doesn't revolve anymore. There's just ascent on the central point. I hope you try to understand that all the movements come out of ignorance. All the outer movements come because we are not yet on the central point. But that achievement is not difficult because you have jumped onto it. But you again come out onto the periphery, onto the wheel. So how to keep there and to ascend in that line? Say, for example, there are wheels, like these wheels after wheels, but central point is fixed. Now every time you jump out, now how do you go back to the central point? Is by detachment, by tapa, by penance. Penance is to deny. It doesn't mean asceticism of outside, but asceticism of within. First of all, we must learn to give. Give to others. That also sometimes people find it difficult, I have seen. Even to give £1, they said, for Sahaja Yoga, people find it difficult. I was amazed. So to give to others is going to be even worse. Try to give to others. Detachment. So one way is to have forgiveness. Then second is generosity. If you work for Sahajog, I haven't done anything so far. Not to react to it, what work you have done. Oh, it's pleasure, I did it. It's my pleasure, I did it. Just out of pleasure. Don't count it. I brought 4 flowers, she brought 2 flowers. I must be paid for 1.5 flower. All these calculations are on the periphery, outside, when you were not realized souls. Now, you just don't count anything else but your blessings. So, you be generous. I have seen now people have different attachments, subtler ones, like attached to their own children. I have seen people. Once the children are born to Sahajogis, then the whole world becomes their children. You spoil them, you spoil yourself. You are just their trustees. But to you, it becomes a very big thing that you have produced a child. Anybody can produce, even a dog produces a child. What is so great? I mean, the beach. That's a funny word to say. So to create a child is not something great, but that you have a child in charge of you, which has to work for God. You are just in charge. But to identify that this child is great, he's a very big realized soul and all that, you see, will blast your head completely, because it is subtler blasting. It's like hydrogen bomb. Ordinary bombs can destroy part of it, but these subtler bombs are even worse. And that will spoil the child, that will spoil also you very much in your ascent. So what you have to do is to see that if you have a child, all right, you are just in charge. As you are in charge of all the children of Sahajogis, not of your own. Be generous. Udara charitanam vasudhaiva kutumbakam. The person who is a generous person, for him the whole world is his family. So expand yourself. This is my family, this is my wife. How can I live without my wife or my husband, my child, This will not help you. This will tie you down completely. This is a very subtler thing you start, because now you are sitting back. First you gave up your family, gave up your children, gave up everything, came to this extreme. Now you are going back. For Indians, they understand that they are already too much in it. So they know that to detach yourself from your children is very important, because they are already in it. They are too much attached to their children. In the beginning, they'll always tell me, my child is like this, my mother is like this, my father is like this, my brother is like this, improve my... And they'll be all bhoots, one better than the other. Without any discretion, bring all those relations on my head, and I feel terrible about it. Even a far-fetched relation of a relation of a relation of a relation, they'll bring it along that, you see, she is my relation. So in India, it's very important that you are a relation of such and such person. And you may not have anything to do with that person, but he's a relation, so he's a relation. So, what we understand is that our relationships and our identifications have to be dropped completely. We are universal beings now. So, your child is a source of joy. Every child should be the source of joy. Every child should be. Bachelors that way are better, or the ones who are not yet married. They can enjoy everybody's child nicely. But when you are not a mother and a father, if you are enjoying, what is so creditable? When you become the parents and then you enjoy other children as much as you enjoy your child, then your generosity has started. So the generosity of loving others, the generosity through compassion. Compassion doesn't mean that you should pity someone, but compassion means the sharing of personality, sharing of love personality. And that is where we miss the point. That compassion means if somebody has to be helped. Sahaja Yoga compassion is not that. Sahaja Yoga compassion is its sharing. Now the fourth thing you have to remember. What I have told you at the first is the forgiveness. First, according to me. First is forgiveness. Second is, you can call it the compassion or the detachment leading to compassion. So you can call it this first one as the forgiveness, detachment, and thirdly the compassion. These are the wheels of your chariot which moves you. These are the wheels you should remember. Now, if you go further with it, with the detachment, supposing works out in you, even you become compassionate. Even that comes. Still, what is the judging point? How do you know that you are all right? How do you measure? How do you find out that you are all right? I mean, what you call take the bearing, as they say, of the ship. How do you know? You must have peace. You should be a peaceful person. Agitation should be outside. But you should be absolutely peaceful person. If you are not a peaceful person, then be sure that you are not yet there where you should have been. Now, you can say that Christ also got very angry. He took a whip in his hand and beat the people. So we can also do the same. You are not Christ. You are not an incarnation. You must know you are a realized soul. So you don't have to take a whip in your hand and hit others. You cannot. This is the mistake what the disciples of Muhammad Sahib have done, that they never thought that he was an incarnation. You see, all the incarnations have killed. Krishna has killed, Rama has killed, Devi has killed. But you are not the Devi. You are not Sri Krishna. So you don't have to kill anyone. You don't have to show the temper. So if you still have a temper, then know that your progress is very slow. You have to be a peaceful person. Imagine Sahaja Yogis having a jihad. What do you say to that? Going with swords in the hand and a spear in the hand and hitting others. This point I want to make very clear, because when I am there, of course, I am going to tell you everyone. But when I am not there, I don't want you to take in your hands the swords and things and fight. What William Blake has written is for the incarnation. The incarnation says, give me my. It's not that you should say, now give me a Rama's Ayudhas. You cannot use. You are not an incarnation. Because the discretion of these are effective, yours are not. So you are not to take any weapon into your hand, or even anger doesn't behove as a yogi at any point, unless and until I tell you to be angry. So this is the criteria, that you have to be a peaceful person, not aggressive person. Now different people have different type of aggressiveness. For example, men don't discuss, you see, they just slap you, finished. They don't argue, they don't like to argue. At a point they'll go and they'll just hit you out and finished. But women are very good at argument and very aggressive, very aggressively argumentative. So you don't argue, is the second point. If you are argumentative, then know that you are not yet there where you have to be. A peaceful person goes to a point and then argues it. If you are argumentative, then your progress is not all right. So a person has to be absolutely peaceful, and this peace is the most effective thing. We are seeking the peace of the universe. You cannot achieve it through any one of these bombs. You can only achieve it through the spirit, which is the source of all the peace. So I would request all of you to give up tempers, angers. Peace is the greatest powerful thing on this earth. There's a story, a Chinese story, interesting about it. There were two very great fighting cocks, you see, known to be the greatest of all, and they have this, you see, excitement again of the cock fighting in China. I mean, you can have of everything in this world, all absurd things, like rugby, football, this, that, I mean, there's no end to it. So these two cocks were to go in for an international sort of a fight, I think. So they said, there is one great saint living here, he makes everyone very powerful. So the owner of the cocks went to him and he said, will you make these two cocks very powerful so that they can fight and win? He said, all right, it's very simple. All right, you leave them with me. So after a month, when he appeared to take the cocks, they would not react to anything, they were just standing like this, watching him. He got a fright of his life. He said, how are they going to fight? He said, you just take them, you'll see. So he took them to the arena and put them there. And all the cocks, you see, invaded each other, fought this, they were just watching, these two were watching. And all the rest of them got so frightened with these two, they all ran away. And they won. So the person who is peaceful is the powerful. The one who does not react to anything else is the most powerful. So one has to understand that peace is the criteria to know that you are absolutely at that point where you have to be. But peace by no chance means cowardliness. Because you see, I know what indiscretion is, human indiscretion. They think then cowardliness. No. You stand like this, not like this. The difference between a peaceful person and a cowardly person is that a cowardly person acts to the negative forces, and a peaceful person creates positive forces, constructive forces, generates it. So you are not to be cowardly, but you have to be peaceful. And a peaceful person is like a magnet, you see. So soothing it is. So you can see now we are moving towards the soothing qualities of the spirit. You have to soothe others, and not to excite but to soothe. And that soothing quality, what you call is, we call it like the ghee. When the body is charred and is absolutely burning, then you put some sort of a ghee on it. So it becomes smooth. Like lubrication, lubricant. Such a personality is a lubricant. It doesn't go into friction but reduces frictions. It's a lubricant temperament. So you should judge yourself, am I a lubricant personality? For example, you see two persons are fighting. Alright? And one goes as a peacemaker. And one goes to excite it more. You see, he joins them. Now the one who is the peacemaker is the Blessed One. Is the one who is the one moving towards God. Because he is the peacemaker. Blessed are those who are the peacemaker. All these things, if you see, are what I am telling today is the same but in a different language. That's all. What Christ said is, to understand Christ you have to open him out more, because he said it in a very simple words which has very deep meanings, and only a Sahaja can understand him. So you have to make peace. What I have seen people being given Nobel Prizes of peace who have no peace within at all. They are hot-tempered, horrible people and given Nobel Prize for peace. All right. And personified temper, absolutely hot-tempered. And you call it peace. How can you have peace with a person who is so hot-tempered? So this is possible. In this human endeavor, anything is possible, you see. It's sometimes so absurd, you see. Like I have seen people getting a degree, doctorate of learning, who has not even been to a school, who doesn't know how to read the book. Anything is possible, because it is just a maneuvering of everything is so artificial. So the lubrication of your love, the love. So the love that you enjoy is not what is bestowed upon you, but what you bestow upon others. The idea of love is also funny. It's just the opposite of what you have seen so far. They'll write, I love you, all right? And the second sentence will be, I want to divorce you. And the modern fashion is like that. I love you, I want to divorce you because I love you too much. Because I want to spare you. It's very modern, very sophisticated. So the love that hurts others, love that tortures others, the love that expects is not love. Love that just flows, just forgives, it's just compassion. It's the most enjoyable thing. Radiant, just like the sunshine. Like Christ, who even forgave those who crucified him. Imagine. Imagine. Because he knew that God will not forgive. Even God will not forgive those he tried to forgive them. But we, those who call themselves Christians, those who are supposed to be Christians, are just the opposite of Christ. Just the opposite in every way, if you see. Just the opposite. So, you come to a point where you understand that you become the love. And when it is pure love relationships, then there is no lust and greed or anything but just love and purity of love. You don't want to do it because you want to have any lust out of that person. Just see the opposite. Here, the girl is very attractive. What is so attractive? To my eyes, they look like mosquitoes. Horrible, sometimes like witches, Their nails and all that look like to me like witches, so artificial. Just like machines sometimes. What is so attractive in these women? Or in these men, you see? They look like skulls to me sometimes, and sometimes like Frankenstein. I don't know what they look like. Horrible. The way they walk, the way they try to impress. Nothing but fear comes out of them. So, what you emit out of your love to others, a sense of security, an ocean of security, you can call it. Everyone feels secured with you. And that security will be felt by trust. Trust others. Must trust. That is very important. Trust for everything. I have seen some people are very serious on money. Some are very serious about possessions. Some are this. I know they are sometimes weak people. Could be weak about money, weak about possessions, could be even insulting to things that should not be so. But don't lose your temper, just have forgiveness for them and let them feel secured, absolutely secure. Trust. You see, as you know that I never ask the trustees to give me any reports. I do not want them to give me any, the accounts or anything. I don't understand accounts at all myself, you see. So I never see how many accounts you have got, what money you have got, or say, supposing Gavin is saying that I am sending money now, mother, to you, whatever I receive. It's all right, finished. I don't know whether he give you receipts or not, nothing. If he says so, all right, I leave it to him. He has to grow, whatever it is. It is his responsibility. If he is not grown up enough, he will grow. So trust others, because in Sahaja Yoga you must know we are all growing, we are all transforming. So we must grow, and for growth, security is the most important thing. If there is no security for a tree, it will never grow. So everybody should feel secured in the company of Sahaja Yogis. If there is any insecurity from someone, then it should be reported to the collective and should see that all such cases of insecurity creating trouble creators should be little bit taken out for a time being, because there should be a healthy growth. But growth must take place, and for that you must trust. Somebody might make mistakes, all right, doesn't matter. Somebody may be dishonest, doesn't matter. But give them security. But what we do is to give security to bhoots. I have seen very common. People will have only interest in the bhutish people. They will trust a bhutish people than to trust a person who is little dishonest. Doesn't matter. You see, what is dishonesty? Supposing somebody doesn't give income tax, doesn't matter. It is this government or in that government. What does it matter to us? As long as that person is honest to God is sufficient. Our honesty is of a different level. So we become angry with that person. We get upset with that person. There's nothing to get angry. Actually, my system, as you know, is that I know also that people who have mismanaged money, who have not been all right, I know it somehow without knowing accounts. But I said, just forgive, forgive, forgive. I know everything, but I just say forgive, doesn't matter. Then you might say with rationality that, mother, such a person will go ahead with it. No, he won't. You try and trust. Why? Because they are growing. They are coming to light. And the more light they see, the better they become. This trust has to be there. Trusting in God that He will give him the right path. So this understanding about your growth is within yourself, which you can see, and the highest of all is the collectivity. Not the fraternity of booths, but collectivity. Again, discretion has to be used. How far you are collective. If a person thinks he is a very great person and he can correct everyone and he can punish everyone and do as he likes, then he is not collective. But sometimes you have to also understand that even with Bhutish people, I have to stoop down to conquer them, to bring them up. Don't become like them. Try to elevate them than to go down to their level. And if you can manage that, then you have achieved what you wanted to do through your collectivity. And a person has to be collective. If he is not collective, then one must know that there's something definitely wrong with that person. Then what you have to do after detachment from things, the penance part of it. For this we have to be doing some penance. For example, if you are too much attached to anything, say you are fond of food. Many people are, I know that. The tongue is the worst of all. If you can control tongue, you have controlled at least 50% of your sense organs. If you are attached to the tongue, these days I am going into a big penance. I am eating just boiled food without salt, without anything in it. Just boiled food. Going into penance. I have to. For 9 months. For me it doesn't matter. It's no penance for me because I have no tongue at all. No taste buds. I can manage. So whatever you like too much, I love to have something. You see, especially here I've seen if you see good food or anything, Now, it's as cold as ice. Should I have it? I can, if you want. But it's rather cold. I think you would like to give me hot, all right. I don't mind having it. All right. So now, what you have to do is to have a kind of self-directed discipline. Self-directed. Not on others. Self-directed. Do I meditate in the morning? I don't. So what's wrong with me? I'm supposed to be a Sahaja Yogi. Nobody has to tell you. You yourself should do this to yourself. You are fond of food? All right, doesn't matter. I'll fast for 2 days. No fasting is allowed in Sahaja Yoga, all right. But fasting for detachment is all right. Not for God's sake, for your sake. You do it. I like a particular type of cake, all right, I'll not have it. I'll not have it for 1 year. But no, people have to give up, then they'll give up something like rhubarb. So one should not be cunning about it. You should not be cunning with yourself. So what you have to do is to see that where does this mind go? What is the attraction? I mean, even now I find some people are like Romeo Juliet, you see, still living in that area of Romeo Julietness. Get out of it. Nonsense. Get out of that kind of a thing. That doesn't mean you become dry personality. Another extreme can be that you just be like sticks. That's not the point. But you should not indulge into these things. These are all artificial things. So a tapa is to be established within yourself. Self-discipline. Now those who talk too much should stop talking. Absolutely mauna is the ilaj. Mauna is the treatment for such people. Just don't talk. Those who do not talk, most of the English men don't talk, women talk too much. This is a fact. I have seen on any interview, you see the woman will talk first. This constable lady died, her mother was talking in India, her mother would not be in a position to talk, the father was sitting quiet. So you just can't imagine. In India, supposing a child dies like that, you see, the mother would be absolutely sobbing in a mess, she won't be talking. Here the woman was talking, we were so surprised. You see, the women talk too much. Men just don't talk. They are not supposed to talk, I think. They just keep quiet. At the most, they might be slapping, I don't know what they do. So what we have to do is to teach ourselves that if our tongue talks too much, then we better keep quiet. If we do not talk, we better talk. We should teach ourselves how to talk. Now go and talk to the sea, go and talk to some tree, go and talk to someone like that. Or best is to talk to me, to my photograph. So that's how you achieve a kind of a control over your tongue. To talk sweetly. Some people have to go through penance for that. For them to talk sweetly is like taking rhubarb again. They just can't talk sweetly. Just can't. Sarcasm. You see, that in that sarcasm they have a special pleasure. Try to say something sweet. You can be humorous without being sarcastic. Humor is the best way. What is the need to be sarcastic? There's no need at all. It's a sign of cowardliness, I think, sarcasm. It's a sign that you want to hurt others, but you are not straightforward. So try to avoid sarcastic talking. If you are sarcastic, better tell your tongue to behave itself. So little disciplining towards yourself, punishment, what you call, or the tapa, the penance has to work out. Now people have so many ways of seeing things. Some men want to see women all the time. Some women want to see men all the time, or clothes, or anything. Now the difference is that when you see something, it reacts. The difference between my looking at anything is that reacts. When I look at you, your kundalini reacts. When I look at this, it gets vibrated. Kataksha, kataksha. Every eye, kataksha. Every glance makes the thing react, and nirikshana means I know what it is. I know what. Just looking at a person, I know what it is. Looking at a thing, I know what it is. Nirikshana. But the whole thing is in the memory there, you see. Like we were going and they said, we have only black stones. I said, no, you have red also. He said, where do you know? So I told them exact spot where to get the red stones. He said, how do you know that? I said, we passed that way about 8 days back and I know there are red stones. So everything I see gets vibrated, and also I note what is there and is already there to be used at a proper time. But what do I do? What do I do? I do nothing. I do nothing. I don't think, I don't plan. Everything that you do, I don't do. So when you have that kind of a temperament, you will be amazed the amount of dynamism that will work it out. You don't have to create a dynamo, it's inside you. Let it work it out. Today I had told Govind that I won't have so much of a puja, but I'll talk. Because puja is all right, it talks for itself and this thing. But I wanted to talk to you because now the time has come for us to go further. As a result of all this that when you do, you become the truth. You become the truth. So in every chakra, if you concentrate and use the chakra to detach yourself from the particular quality of that chakra, like now for example the Nabi chakra does the digestion. Now you don't worry what you should eat to digest. Just detach yourself from there with vibrations. If you just see and eat whatever is there, you will digest. And then you become the truth. Truth, that is love, that is God. May God bless you all. You have all the arrangements for the complete puja, whatever I like. Of course, I have told you about the egg now. Now you have become the chicken already. Only you have to grow. That's all. Breaking so many eggs every day, isn't it? Easter is something like our birthday we celebrate. When we became a bird out of the cage, of the shell. So Easter is our birthday we are celebrating, of our realization. And every day we must grow with our birthday. While in a human form you decrease your age as your birthday comes in. But with this, you increase your age. And you are proud that you are growing. In a human level, you feel unhappy that you are growing. Here, you feel proud that you are growing. Just the opposite of what you are doing, if you try to do it, it will be nice. I mean, that doesn't mean, again, indiscreet, you know. I'm quite worried on that point. Discretion is the first thing that you should have before you. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me for about 5-10 minutes till I take my tea, and then we'll have a little puja. Yes, better have it before the puja, and then, or after the puja is better. Whatever you say. Huh? After. All right. Naveen has got the point. What is there when I'm taking the tea?
You have a special expression.
This I have to do just to please you, see, the tea.
We don't feel thirsty anymore now.
Huh? Expression.
Yes, ma'am. We don't feel thirsty anymore now. You're thinking.
You are an expert, all of you. Such photographs, I tell you. I myself amazed at myself. Imagine the tulips are out at this time and they just look like, their buds look like these eggs only.
Yes.
You know?
How much they've opened since you came up?
Huh?
How much they've opened out since you came?
How much?
These were closed, Mama.
Oh, they must. You don't know. They react to me. Sri Ganesha is very sweetly made there, isn't he? So now what is the procedure, Gavin? Now don't leave everything to me. Now let me see how many have not seen me before. I mean, before I came to the airport. Put your hands up. 1, 2, 3. What are these? Oh, I'll just take out the sun is very kind. You know, America is having a bad time. Very bad time. Absolutely.
It's so hot now.
Yeah.
So hot here.
You are lucky people.
You are with us.
Now, what I would suggest that have you got Bible with you? You can read a part of that I said today, blessed are those. And by that time you can just wash my feet. That's those time you can wash my feet. Who will do that? Can have the parents of there are 12 of them, the children are right, so I don't know what to say also.
The fathers could do
Huh?
your puja. The
The
fathers
what?
could do your puja. The fathers could do your puja. And the mothers can bring the children for the
Fathers.
christening.
Alright, the fathers of these 12 children, where's the list is with you? Read it out. The name of the fathers. The fathers should come and the mothers could be there. Yes, all the fathers.
Mark, Peter,
Pat, Simon, Marcus, Eduardo and Cristina are in Italy, so
And it's alright.
John, David, Ian, Rodrigo, Lois, and Christian.
John and Ian. Pat is it there?
Pat,
Ah.
Mark,
There are 12, so you should have 11 of them.
11 is.
Now are you 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. 7, 8, 9. There are only 9. Nine of them. 10.
Christians should be around.
Please.
Chris, he should be there.
He's there. Yes.
I saw him this morning.
He's here.
Oh yeah, that's it.
You forgot you become a father? So much detached. That's a good sign. So I think we can have you in 2 rows or something. So put the thing there. Let's just I mean, then you can read that English thing about Christ. Okay, yes, that one, the translation. And they can wash my feet, that's all, that's sufficient. We'll put the water. You bring the water. But then you can come and help you, both of you. All right. Just now, 4 of you can come first of all. Come on, you 4. Coming started. Should we do it two each? All right, 2 each. Let's do 2 each.
Udevashi, the egg born of Mula Prakriti that was floating in the waters for a period equal to the life period of
I think you
Brahma.
better take the mic in your hand because nobody is listening. Here. Come this side.
Narayana said, O Devashi, the egg born of Mula Prakriti that was floating in the waters for a period equal to the life period of Brahma, now in the fullness of time separated into 2 parts. Within that egg there was a powerful child, lustrous like 1,000 millions of suns. This child could not suck mother's milk as it was forsaken by her. So being tired of hunger, the child for a moment cried repeatedly. That child that will become the lord of countless Brahmandas, that is, universes, now an orphan having no father nor mother, began to look upwards from the waters. This boy came to be denominated afterwards by the name of Mahavirat, when he became gross and grosser. As there is nothing finer than radium, so there is nothing grosser than Mahavirat. The power of this Mahavirat, 1/16 of that of Sri Krishna, the highest self. But this boy, born of the Prakriti Radha, is the sole stay of all this universe, and he is denominated by the name of Mahavishnu. In his every pore countless universes are existing, so much so that even Sri Krishna could not count them. If it were possible to count the number of the dust particles, it is impossible to count the number of the universes. So there are endless Brahmas, Vishnus and Maheshwaras. In every Brahmanda there is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha. Each Brahmanda extends from Patala to the Brahmaloka. The abode of Vaikuntha is higher than that is situated outside of Brahmanda. Again, the abode of Goloka is 50 koti yojanas, that's 50 by 10 by 4 by 2 million miles, higher than Vaikuntha. This Goloka Dhamma is eternal and real, as Sri Krishna is eternal and real. This world, composed of the 7 islands, is surrounded by the 7 oceans. 49 Upadvipas, smaller islands adjacent to them, exist here. Besides, there are countless mountains and forests. Higher than this earth is the Brahma Loka with 7 heavens, and below this are the 7 Patalas. This is the bounding limit of a Brahmanda. Just above this earth there is the Burloka. Above is Bhuvar Loka, then Svar Loka, then Janar Loka, then Tapar Loka.
See now. I told you about all of them today.
And then Satya Loka, and above that is Brahma Loka. The splendor of Brahma Loka is like that of molten gold. but all the substances, whether outside or inside this Brahmaloka, are transient. When this Brahmanda, the cosmos, dissolves, everything dissolves and is destroyed. All are temporary, like bubbles of water.
The Satyaloka is up to the Sahasrara, and beyond that is Brahmaloka.
Only Goloka and Vaikuntha are eternal. In every pore of this Mahavirat is existing one Brahmanda. What to speak of others, even Krishna cannot count the number of these Brahmandas. In every Brahmanda there is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha. O child Narada, in every Brahmanda the number of the gods is 3 koti, or 30 millions. Some of them are
30 million.
Some of them are Dikpatis, the regents of the quarters. Some are Dikpalas, the rulers of the quarters. Some are asterisms and some are planets. In the Burloka there are 4 Varnas, Brahmins and so on, the 4 states. In the Patalas there are Nagas. Thus the universe exists composed of movable and non-movable things. This is Brahmanda Vivriti. O Narada, now the Virat Purusha began to look up to the skies again and again, but he could not see anything within that egg except the void. Then, distressed with hunger, he cried out repeatedly and became merged in anxiety. Next moment, getting back his consciousness, he began to think of Krishna, the highest person, and saw there at once the eternal light of Brahma. He saw there his form as deep blue, like a new rain cloud, with 2 hands, a garment of yellow colour, a sweet smile on his face, flute in his hand, and he seemed to be very anxious to show his grace to his devotees. Looking at the Lord, his father, the boy became glad and smiled. The Lord, the bestower of boon, granted him boons appropriate for that moment. O child, let you possess knowledge like me. Let your hunger and thirst vanish. Let you be the holder of innumerable Brahmandas till the time of Pralaya, the universal dissolution. Be without any selfishness, be fearless and the bestower of boons to all. Let not old age, death, disease, sorrow, nor any other ailings afflict thee. Thus saying, he repeated thrice on his ear the 6-lettered great mantra, Om Krishnaya Svaha, worshipped by the Vedas with their Amgas, the giver of desires and the destroyer of all troubles and calamities. O Brahma's son, thus giving the mantra, Sri Krishna arranged for his fooding thus. In every universe, whatever offerings will be given to Sri Krishna, 1/16 of that will go to Narayana, the Lord of Vaikuntha, and 15/16 is to go to this boy, the Virat. Sri Krishna did not allot any share for himself. Himself transcending all the gunas and full, he is always satisfied with himself. What necessity is there for any further offerings? Whatever the people offer with devotion, the Lord of Lakshmi, the Virat, eats all these. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, giving thus to the Virat the boon and the mantra, said, O child, say what more you desire, I will give you that instantly. The Virat boy, hearing thus the words of Sri Krishna, spoke, O thou omnipresent, I have got no desires whatever, save this, that as long as I live, whether for a short time or for a long time, let me have pure bhakti towards thy lotus feet. In this world he is Jivan Mukta, liberated while living, who is your bhakta, and that bewildered fool is dead while living, who is devoid of any bhakti to thee. What needs he to perform japam, asceticism, sacrifice, worship, holding fasts and observances, going to sacred places of pilgrimage and other virtuous acts, if he be without any bhakti to Sri Krishna? Vain is his life who is devoid of any devotion to Sri Krishna, under whose grace he has obtained his life, and whom he does not now pay homage and worship. He is endowed with Shakti as long as Atma resides in his body. No sooner the Atma departs from his body, all the Shaktis accompany him. O Great One, and thou art the universal Atman who transcends Prakriti, who is all will, the primeval person, and of the nature of the highest light. O child, thus saying, the Virat boy remained silent. Sri Krishna then spoke in sweet words. O child, let you remain as fresh as ever, like me. You will not have any fall, even if innumerable Brahmas pass away. Let you divide yourself in parts and turn into smaller virats in every universe. Brahma will spring from your navel and will create the cosmos. From the forehead of that Brahma will spring 11 Rudras for the destruction of the creation. But they will all be parts of Shiva. The Rudra named Kalagni of these 11 Rudras will be the destroyer of all this Visvas, the cosmos. Besides, from each of your subdivisions the Vishnu will originate, and that Bhagavan Vishnu will be the preserver of this Vishvu, the world. I say that, under my favour, you will always be full of bhakti towards me, and no sooner you meditate on me, you will be able to see my lovely form. There is no doubt in this, and your mother who resides in my breast will not be difficult for you to see. Let you remain here in ease and comfort. I go now to Goloka. Saying thus, Sri Krishna, the Lord of worlds, disappeared. Going to his own abode, he spoke instantly to Brahma and Shankara, skilled in the works of creation and destruction. O child Brahma, go quickly and be born in the parts from the navels of each of the smaller Virat that will arise from the pores of the great Virat. O child Mahadeva, go and be born in part from the forehead of each Brahma in every universe for the destruction of the creation. But be careful that you not forget, and perform austerities for a long, long time. O son of the Creator Brahma, thus saying, the Lord of the universe remained silent. Brahma and Shiva, the auspicious, bowing to the Lord, went to their own duties. On the other hand, the great Virat that lay floating in the waters of the Brahmanda sphere created from his every pore each smaller Virat. That youth, Janardhan, of the form of the great cosmos, wearing yellow garment of the bluish-green colour of the Durba grass, lay sleeping, pervading everywhere. Brahma took his birth in his navel. He then, after his birth, began to travel in that navel lotus and in the stem of the lotus for 1 lakh yugas. But he could not find out the place whence the lotus or its stem had sprung up. O Narada, then your father became very anxious and came back to his former place and began to meditate the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Then in meditation, with his introspective eye, he first saw the small Virat, then the endless great Virat lying on the watery bed, in whose pores the universes are existing. And then he saw the god Sri Krishna in Goloka with Gopas and Gopis. He then began to praise the Lord of Goloka, when he granted boons to your father, and he began to do the work of creation. From the mind of your father were born first Sanaka and other brothers, and then from his forehead 11 Rudras sprang. Then from the left side of that small Virat lying on the bed of waters, the 400 Vishnu Bhagavan, the preserver of the universe, came. He went to Shveta Dvipa, where he remained. Then your father became engaged in creating this universe, movable and non-movable, composed of 3 worlds, heaven, earth and Patala, in the navel of that small Virat Purusha. O Narada, thus from the pores of that great Virat, each universe has sprung, and in every universe there is 1 small Virat, 1 Brahma, 1 Vishnu, and 1 Shiva, and Shanaka and others. O best of twice-born, thus I have described the glories of Krishna that gave exceeding pleasure and moksha. Now say what more you want to hear. Here ends the 3rd chapter of the 9th book, on the origin of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha and others, in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharshi Vedavyasa.
So you can imagine how tremendous it is. This is so fantastic, see? And where you have entered it is all that. Let's stop it now.
St. Matthew chapter 5. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Now, what is poor in spirit? See, poor in spirit doesn't mean that you are immature, but poor in spirit means persons who do not value money, who are not money oriented. It means people who are not money oriented.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Now, mourn doesn't mean also again pathetic people. It doesn't mean that. Mourn is the people who bear up others, you see, who do not sort of react, but bear up.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Now, meek are the people who are humble people, who are not cowards, who are humble.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
That you understand. The army.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
Compassion.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
What is it? The blessed are.
The pure in heart.
Now, this is important. See now, you have to be pure in heart. Don't deceive yourself. That means you must ask for forgiveness from God. You must ask for forgiveness, and you know on mantras that for heart you have to ask for forgiveness. So you have to be clean on your heart.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
Which one?
They which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Tapa. Tapa.
Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad,
Shama. Again, is to forgive.
for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and be trodden under the foot of men.
That's it. What is the saltness? Is what I told you today, is the saltness. Is to be in the center, to be the spirit.
Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
You can ask some girls to do it.
Young girls?
Someone can come and do it. Take it out like this and push back. Have you got something for the toes? Nothing. Didn't buy anything for the toes today.
Not for today, no.
Huh? What
Did you buy two rolls?
What have you got?
Yes, look.
Let's see. Open it up. This is the daily people gave me, see? And they had not used it for the puja, so they said you must wear it. So I bought it just to make them feel happy. Only one on this? All the rest are there? Are they 10?
There's 9 altogether. So there's
Doesn't
only
matter.
one.
Sorry, I didn't put it. Faster. Start from the big one. The biggest in size, you put it on there. You need not put it on these two. That's right. So the same should be used. This one is yes, for the third.
Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vishnumayati Shabdita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Chaitanya Bidiyate Namastasye 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 Namo Namah.
Abhidhyate is the one who carries the Chaitanya.
Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kshuda Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Chaya Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Trishna Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kshanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Jati Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lajja Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Kanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vritti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Smrti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Daya Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Tushti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matru Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Pranti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
Smaller one. First the water. Now be careful not to put your fingers in. This water should be bottled and given to all the centers for vibrating. Bend it more. That now this water should be kept carefully. In that you can put it in the handy. I've kept it carefully. And the same, throw it away. Should be given. I would suggest that if you can bring the small one, that's small, another one here. And now you see about, should we say, what should we say today? We haven't got names of Christ.
Yes, we do. Mother, we do have.
Do we have?
They've been written.
Yes, they've been written.
Huh?
They've been written, Mother.
Yes, better they've done that. Names of Christ. Now, what you can do is one by one to pour on my hand. First of all, the green. This is the spoon there. Very pounding. The feet, if they are put on a big thing, will be better, isn't it? Because then they can take the photograph.
These, Mother, may be open. We can open it.
No, these are better.
These
Because
are
you see, the feet must show. Better they show in. That's a great thing for a Jew to compose.
Yes.
That's a just the opposite.
Salutations to he who is the
Loudly.
Salutations to he who is in the primordial egg, cosmic egg. Salutations to he who is the primordial word, Om, Omkar. Salutations to he whose father is Lord Krishna. Salutations to he whose mother is Radha, Sri Radha.
He was Yehovah's son.
Jehovah.
Yehovah's son.
Of the Hebrews of God. Salutations to he who was born in the stable. Salutations to he who was fond of the cows. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of innocence. Salutations to he who in every pore of his body universe is whirled like dust.
Now, the one who came on this earth to save, as a savior. The one who came on this earth as a savior.
Salutations to the one who came on this earth as a saviour.
And the one who crucified himself to save us.
Salutations to the one who crucified himself to save us.
The one who stooped down to cure even the lepers.
Salutations to the one who stooped down to cure even the lepers.
Salutations to him who forgave the people who crucified.
Salutations to him who forgave the people who crucified him.
And to him who is entirely surrendered to his Father.
Salutations to him who is entirely surrendered to his Father.
To him who protected his mother.
Salutations to him who protected his mother.
Giving life for her. See, and also the one who is absolutely obedient to his mother.
Salutations to the one who is absolutely obedient to his mother. Also one is salutations to he who is the perfect Sahaj Yogi,
The eldest brother.
the eldest brother.
In India, they all call him Eshu Dada. Eshu Dada. Dada is the eldest brother. They all call him, they never call him Eshu or Jesus or anything. They call him Eshu Dada. All the surgeons. He's the big brother.
Who was the firstborn of our mother?
Salutations to he who was the firstborn of our mother. Salutations to he who stands at the gates of the kingdom of heaven. Salutations to he who is represented by the sign of the cross.
Salutations to him whose message was resurrection.
Salutations to him whose message was resurrection.
It's very different, isn't it? His names are. And to him who can destroy the whole universe with his 11 powers.
Salutations to him who could destroy the whole universe with his 11 powers. Salutations to he whose church is the heart.
Now, you bring the other one to wash my hands.
Salutations to he who condemns anger. Salutations to he who condemns racialism.
Who controls your ego and superego both? He's the controller of ego and superego.
Salutations to he who controls ego and superego.
The one who prophesies the coming of the mother.
Salutations to he who prophesied the coming of the Mother, who is the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of peace. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of forgiveness. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of compassion. Salutations to he who is perfect detachment. Salutations to he who takes individuals beyond their little worlds.
Salutations to him who gives a sense of pride to our mother.
Salutations to he who gives a sense of pride to our mother. And salutations to he who is loved by our mother.
For whom mother wept, Lord.
Salutations to he over whom our mother wept. Salutations to he who is the Bijas, Hum and Ksham.
Yeah. He's the Bijaman.
Salutations to he who sucks in all the sins accumulated by past karmas. Salutations to he who is the beginning, the middle and end of this universe.
He's the Alpha and the Omega. The one who is Shri Ganesha.
Salutations to he who turned when his cloak was touched. Salutations to he who condemned those moneylenders in the temple.
He took a whip in his hand
He beat them.
and to argue with the priests. All of them.
Salutations to he who is the absolute authority in Jewish religion.
He gives, is this the small present, Gavi?
One present.
Huh?
One present.
One present.
Salutations to he
Then you open.
whose profession was a humble carpenter.
Humble?
Humble carpenter. him humbly to the kingdom of heaven. Salutations to he who used humility to wash the feet of his disciples.
Huh?
Salutations to he who washed the feet of his disciples. His humility.
Humility person. So the one who is humility person. Prideless, egoless.
Salutations to the healer of the sick.
Too much.
That's 16 petals.
Ah, see. It's a surprise, is it? And has also Trigunas here. You see, this petal has 3 gunas. Surprise. See, this is Sahaja. You see now? So perfect. It's Sahaja. So good.
Also, we found a very Sahaj mother.
That's it.
Yesterday it was
Holiday.
holiday, and there was a misunderstanding. Someone said, "What should I get, mother?" And they said, "Mother would like maybe bath," but it was not for us. It was not the collective present. It was a personal gift. So we thought that this bus has been bought. And the last moment, Gavin said, "No, we have to go and buy one." So
6:30.
6:30.
We found out nobody had bought your present.
So we left trying to find something, and we went through downtown. Everything was closed. Naturally, it was too late. We arrived to Queensway, and we saw a shop. I said, "Oh, that's a shop has some China things." We stopped and we went. There was shoes. I said, "Oh my goodness, what are we going to do now?" I said, "Well, let's go to Queensway there. Maybe we find something." And we saw this.
Where? There's a shop open.
It was a shop who had some China things in it.
But the shop was open or?
It was open
11:30.
until 11:30.
At 11:30. What?
It was open until we bought it at 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock when we got it.
Anyway, now see what I told you. Isn't it a fact? So what a thing. I mean, it was just made for me. I can't refuse.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you. It's beautiful. So beautiful. Skies is there.
Salutations to he who performed miracles out of his compassion.
The one who walked on the water.
Salutations to the one who walked on the water. Salutations to he who is made of pure prana energy. Salutations to he who is a friend of the cows. Salutations to he who is foretold by all the prophets. Salutations to he who was visited by the three wise men who are
No, Brahma, Vishnu,
Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara.
Why is it stuff off?
Salutations to he who calmed the storm on Lake Galilee for the fishermen.
Who control?
Controlled.
He didn't have all the time to show all the miracles he could perform. And the one who is going to now choose the right and the wrong.
Salutations to the one who will now choose between the right and the wrong.
And the one who will discard the wrong and elevate the right.
The one who will discard the wrong and elevate the right.
Because he's the one who's the master of the time of judgment.
So, salutations to he who condemned adulterous eyes.
Purity, actually. Purity. Complete purity.
Salutations to he who was announced by Sri Hanuman, who is Archangel Gabriel.
Who was also announced by John the Baptist.
And also John the Baptist, who was Elijah. Salutations.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Salutations to he who is will return riding on a white horse, Sri Kalki.
Wow.
Salutations to he who promised he would come at the end of the age. Salutations to he who comes as our collectivity. Guarded very carefully the secret of his mother. Salutations to he who would take any insult and would destroy those who insulted the Holy Spirit, who is his mother. Salutations to he who is eternal joy. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of spiritual well-being. Salutations to he who is the space between thoughts. Salutations to he who is the point at which the principle of evolution joins the original and eternal creator. Salutations to he who is the embodiment of awe for Almighty God. Salutations to he who instills fear of Almighty God. Salutations to he who has no time for guilt.
One thing.
Salutations. Salutations to he who fed the 5,000.
What? I am hearing you.
Salutations to he who is the perfect brother, also to his sisters, thereby bringing down the guilt. Salutations to he who is the true knowledge of auspiciousness, everything that is auspicious. Salutations to he who takes away all the sin of the world. Salutations to he who represents the jump beyond, the fly.
One who got resurrected, so that to represent the eternal life.
Salutations to the one who got resurrected to show the eternal life.
Yes. This is what is called these flowers.
He who quenches, salutations to he who quenches the thirst of seekers. That's Mahalakshmi's power.
These are for the
They look like the shortest ones from
Salutations to he who cannot be contained by any religion. Salutations to he who promised peace to all mankind. Salutations to he who rode on a donkey.
Ah. There are many donkeys. All these findings are based on St. Paul's findings. So you should say, why do you believe in St. Paul? He was a very dubious character. And you can also, some of you should say that many people in India asked us, why do you have St. Paul there?
Salutations to he who not only actually existed, but was existence himself.
Good.
Salutations to he who promised us the Redeemer, the Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. Salutations to he who is the only son of Sri Mataji Nirmala. Salutations to he who took out all the spirits from diseased people and put them into pigs.
And who fought the devil himself? Stan. The temptations that Stan has to.
Salutations to he who fought all the temptations of Satan himself. Salutations to he who descended into the lowest lokas, into the patala, and then to the highest, into heaven, kingdom of God, just for our salvation. Salutations to he who gave knowledge to his disciple.
And also you must say about Virata Shakti, that salutations to him created so many Brahmandas that even Sri Krishna could not count them. See, this is his Virata Shakti. Virata Shakti is tremendous. This is so subtle that even Sri Krishna could not count.
Salutations to he who created so many Viratas that even Sri Krishna could not count them.
Salutations to him who visited England.
Salutations to him who visited England. Jai Shri Ram.
Ah, so I see.
Salutations to he who resurrected the pure spirit.
That's
Salutations to he who is pure penance. Salutations to he who is most admired by his mother. To he who gave all the blessings to those who had faith and believed in him. Salutations to he who turned the other cheek.
we want to have one more name. Salutations to him who is born of the Virgin.
Salutations to him who is born of the Virgin, Jason
Last one is just. You can use my break. Now that. Just say something.
Jaya Nirmala
as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Oil in your eyes. Coconut oil. Yes, that's it. His name is Amrit now. See the witness. See the baby? Did you see the baby? Little baby.
Peter and Margaret
God bless you.
Burns, their son Jitendra.
Jitendra. It means the one who has won the sense of. See what I talked today, so I wanted to give one name on that. Jitendra. Meaning is that the one who has overpowered the sense organs. Because I talked on that today. So one has to be Jitendra. Jitendra, how are you, Jitendra? How are you? Fine. His name is Jitendra. You must put a lot of oil in their head, alright? And also see the peace, huh? How peaceful. Anand. How are you, Anand? You really brought great Anand, eh? Great joy. I'm waiting for all these things. This brother must be very happy. Me? Look at that. Awful people. So you're happy now? Right? I'm going to get another artist, I think. Why? Am I supposed to take a sari from you? Thank you. They're very expensive. such a beautiful thing for me. And I've kept it. You see, the Gokura you had made. It's kept in my house, the one you had made from the one? That one, that's why you both made that. That's beautiful. And you made both of you made this one also. Thank you. So here it is. Wow. Why? Where is the husband gone? How peaceful they are, see? They're such peaceful children. Imagine 12 of them to be born when I was in India. It's significant. What a source of joy, eh? For me. But I mean, I should give to the baby, or you are giving it to me?
This was from Mark.
So, you should keep the name of the child. Alright? I won't take it from you, I should give it to the child. You brought this from me. Very happy. Very happy with This is from whom?
Ananda Chandra.
Ramananda Chandra.
This is twice born.
What's that?
The butterfly is twice born club.
Twice born.
That's what is that?
It's sweet. Hello.
Sarah and Martha Sexual, their son Chandrakant.
Chandrakant. Chandra is for short, but Chandrakant means Shiva's name. Shiva's name. Chandrakant. He is the lord of the Chandra, is Shiva. This is that Hello. Hello Chandrakant. How are you? You're really great. You went to America also with me. Remember that? Yes. I that. So this is Chandrakant. But you can call him Chandra. But it's Chandrakant, Shiva's name. So peaceful, isn't he? Very peaceful child. I must say. Hello. This one. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. With the names, you see, so I'll go home and see them.
Next one couldn't be present in person. Eduardo and Christina from Rome. Their son is called Shreya.
Shreya, meaning the one giver of well-being. Shreya. It's the girl.
Next is John and Kathy Watkinson and their daughter Bhavani.
Bhavani. For Scotland. Bhavani. Bhavani is the consort of Shiva, you know. She's the goddess. Bhavani. Inside. Yeah, hello. Hello, Bhavani. How are you? How are you?
What can this be? Indian Rodrigo's daughter called Rama.
I told you, John, you don't worry. Hello?
That's from Mark and Julie. Amrit. Amrit.
Bhavani? You're all right. Aren't you? Smiling. Aren't you all right? You are all right. All right. Thank you.
No, it was from Sarah.
From Sarah. Who?
Chandra.
Sarah?
Next is Hester and David Spiro and their daughter Sri Devi.
Of course, I need not to be the meaning of the word Sri Devi, you all know. The giver of wealth, prosperity, everything is Sri Devi. Good, you're all right. This one, me.
That one, no, that's from the Chandrakant.
Baby, you are you go, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see the way they're feeling. Huh?
The mother's touch. They know the mother's touch.
They know it, they know it. They know me very well, don't they? I saw her photographs and everything, that I see how just like grown up people, you know? Like that. This is Sri Devi. Sri Devi. Oh, this will be too much. All 12 of you giving me breakfast. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you all. Thank you all. All right, don't want to go. All right. Doesn't matter. What happened, Sri Devi? Sri Devi? What is that? Surprise! Yes. You don't want to go. That's the main thing. What? Oh, what happened? What happened? They are all troubling you.
Which one you want?
All right, I'll keep them.
She did.
Be careful, be careful. Lift your hand carefully. All right, be careful now. I'll put her right. Thank you very much.
This was from the Cassie and the little girl. It's William Blake. David and Mist.
Next, Ian and Anne Lewis and their daughter Leela.
Leela is one of my names. Alright? We got it. Stop. Stop. That's enough. We got this. What's that? So beautiful, right? So, you're very happy? Leela? Oh, I'm sleeping time?
Which parent does she take after sleeping?
They all look like me, I think.
They all look like me, I think. Next, Wendy and Rodrigo, their daughter, Rama.
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 Rama is the Bhavani name. It's the name of Shiva's power, Rama, by which you
have a name for it.
the power of Shiva, which penetrates and entertains. You can say, I mean, but the English language is, that's the Rama. That's Rama. Ramana is what? English language? Raman is the one. See the joy-giving quality of Shiva, which penetrates, permeates and enjoys itself. That is the power of Shiva, is to enjoy himself. Ramana Maharshi. But you must put all deep Oh, apt for her. Shivatattva is overdeveloped. Rama is Parvati's name, which is a special power of Shiva. Which articulates, I think, articulate is a better word, which articulates in the beings and gives them joy. That power. What's it? Don't want to get up. Thank you very much. Even your daffodils are now having fragrance in this country.
Then Louis and Carol, their son Madhava.
Madhava. It's Sri Krishna's name. Madhava. Madhava. One of the aspects of ascent, Madhava. 21 aspects are there. We have crossed 21 steps, so we can say the 21 aspects of Sri Krishna. One of them is Madhava. It's the one which gives sweetness. The power of Sri Krishna which gives sweetness. I think they are feeling a little hot. Alright? So here it is, Madhav. Madhav, how are you? Alright? Okay. So this is Madhav. How do you like the million? Fine, eh?
Last but not least is Christian and Vivian, their son Sridhara.
Sridhara. Sridhara. The one he holds. He holds the Shri. Power of Shri. So where is Sridhara?
Abroad.
That's in Geneva.
Whose son?
Christian and Vivian.
Alright. So may God bless you all. So today I bless all those who are married to have children for next baptism, and those who are not married to get married. Maria has brought this for the children. I bless them.
This is a little book of Mother's Advice to Mothers.
Yes, mother's advice to mothers. But still we can improve on it more. I did it in a great hurry with Louis, and he's done a good job. I think you all should have one each on the mother. As soon as possible. Thanks to Louis that he managed. He worked very hard for it. But don't get too much involved. Write it on for the first page. Not to be involved with your child too much. Leave it to mother. Right?
Pandit Banarsi has kindly offered one incense for each of your disciples. He asked us to
It's so sweet actually. You've not seen some present
I'm going to give
ourselves.
him a picture, Mother. So that they know it's all temple here. We're going to get him.
I'll take one person. I've got one more. I've got one. I've got one. But all the mothers should have one.
These are things which were bought in India by the Sahaja-yogis who went this year. There's a selection of the things that were bought to be given to one to each person.
Don't you feel that? Those are sense of freedom. Take it, take it. Children should gather. Now, how many little babies you saw? 10. 10 little babies. Did you see the 10 little babies? Thank you very much.
Salutation to the one who allowed the
You see
children
them,
to
see?
operate.
See that one is not fine. See that one not fine. None of them are fine. You see the little baby? Some are. Very If you get them a dress like this, then they won't cry. Isn't it? You don't feel hot with it, do you? It's very good. That kind of a dress, very thin. That's it. That's how you should have. Hello. How did you like the little babies? They are catching both the Vishuddhis, all the children. Come here, come. What happened? You want to come to me? What is it? All the both the Vishuddhis are catching poor child. Come along, what do you want? What do you want? Come along, come. What's the thing? Just ask. Well, what do you want? So she wants to come to us.
Oh, look at it.
Oh, that's good. How are you? Thank you very much. Now a grown-up lady. Thank you very much. Now, what is it? What do you want? Oh. Now don't try. Now what do you want? Flowers? What do you want? Hello. What's the problem? Why? What do you want? You want to give the flowers to mother? You want to give flowers? Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. All the children. All right. Now don't cry, all right? Thank you. Huh? You gave me one. Very nice one. I know the one you gave me. Yes, I do.
Sing Alishma's birthday.
Huh?
His birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much for the flowers. So now,
Yes.
what about the cakes to be cut down? What are these eggs?
Eggs to be offered. Who's doing the eggs? Bogdan.
They were combined with by the Norwich and Kansas people. Cross up to all the sides babies with the blessings from them. And here's a box. This is a very good.
They have a plastic carry back.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Sit there. For your other church.
Limpia. Limpia.
What's the name? They wax. They put it into boiling water.
Don't do that and then come back. Sound good?
So it's like toxic.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Love it.
These are done by the sun.
So there's so many presents. We needed something. It's okay, Fluff still bring it. Sorry? We need a big box.
How are you?
What bears?
See the little baby? Where is that? The other one. Thank you. Big on it. You all are looking much better now, I think, the meditation. Much better. Much better. Here they are. How are you? What's that?
From Spain, Mother, we brought it.
From Spain. Spain has done good work. It's done very good work. Very happy about it. May God bless you. May God bless you. And they have gone, Don has gone to
Barcelona.
Barcelona. How is it now?
I'm not sure about Barcelona, Mother, but Madrid is quite well.
How many you have now in Spain?
Maybe 14.
14?
I think so. When we left, we had 10 people coming every night. 20 people.
This time we must include Spain also.
Don was saying Roxana is expecting a child and they'll come in the summer here.
Really? That's good. That's great. Hello. Yeah, it's good. Hello. Now, how are you now? You're all right. I came to say you when you were a little baby.
Made it at last.
What is it? What's that?
From Spain, there was the gift from Spain.
That's what Imogen has.
You can pour your eggs in there.
Oh, this is all made in Spain. You know? In America. They're so expensive. I didn't know they were made in Spain. So beautiful. So neat and nice. I wish the Portuguese could make like this. Beautiful. Thank you very much. It's really beautiful. Hello, Felicity, you are here. I'm so very happy. How is he?
Is this to go? Or is
Yeah,
it
to
to
go,
go?
to go, this back.
It's just a wrapper.
Yes, it's true.
Just too bad.
It's too bad.
Okay.
Where are you staying, Felicity?
Well, we did at my mother's for the last month because we've been over else. My husband's here, Richard's here. He's much better, but he's, you know, I know, but he's less.
You are right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What?
He wanted some food together. No. I don't know his idea yet. So we'll see how it goes. Everybody's pushing, maybe not now, but
And how is Canada?
Yes, Melody was after. That's a nice one.
That's great. That will count.
You find out.
But we have to still establish that. We have to have 1 month. I think 1 month will be coming to be done.
All right, Mother.
1 month for that.
Yes.
I would like to go and see them. One you have already done? In London?
They just moved, some people moved in yesterday, yes, Mother.
How is that? All right.
I think so. How did
See,
you find it?
summertime is not so difficult.
No, it's not difficult. That one was quite straightforward.
But the one you said delegate one also has refused.
No, we haven't, but it, well, Henry went to see it. He can tell you, Mother.
Storage is all right.
Yes.
It's good for we need, there's something for storage.
Yeah.
You know, we need something for storage. So put it for storage. Now I think in the ashram we must have a regular system also. You see, it's not be what to do and how to manage it. So there should be some sort of a general instruction. And ashram is an ashram, it's not a house. You see, and that should be followed in the house as well. So it is better if you make some of things that are supposed to be done by ashram. So once they come here, they know what they have to do and they should just, so it's all for your good, but you have to do something. I think that's just the way.
Mother, Colin has made this photo and he would like to give it in our name to the temple here, so they can have your photo. She thanks them.
Oh, this was like a job. Very nice. This is the real Maharashtrian style. They are simple like it. I don't know what sort of dye, but it's quite nice. That is absolutely Maharashtrian. I think
He's out at the moment. He's coming at 3:30, Mother. He's out during the day today, but we'll give it to him this evening.
I'm wearing even that.
Halva. It's called halva. Halva. I think it's Vicky who did it, and Vicky has done it. Vicky Mother did that one.
Vicky has made it. Very well. I'm sorry to say that. You're not supposed to eat all.
Mother, we should have asked you. Carrots, you think you can use carrots?
No roughage.
No. Cakes, there's one already cut. Oh no, wait. I think there's one cut.
Jasmine. Patricia? Looks like a musical.
Istanbul, what is it? Chestnut flower in Istanbul.
Chestnut?
Flower.
Where did you get it?
In South Hall.
Chestnut is that's not chestnut. It grows on the, like just like water lily thing. It grows on the water.
No, then it's the wrong name then.
It might be water chestnut.
So water chestnut.
Yeah, that's that in Chinese cooking.
It is the lightest thing you can it is for all the fast, all the fasting.
Oh.